Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tear down a 6-sentence horror story that is honestly terrifyingly effective. It's called The Whispering Cupboard. We're going to look at how it uses character, pacing, and just straight up psychology to get under your skin in like less than a minute. Okay, let's get into it. So, first, let me ask you something. What's the scariest story you could possibly tell in only 6 sentences? It's a really cool challenge, right? Because it forces you to be incredibly efficient with fear. This question really gets to the heart of what makes short-form horror so potent. You know, every good story really starts with its characters. So let's kick things off with Section 1, A Girl and Her Fear. This is where we first meet our main character and find out what she's really afraid of. So we meet Rhea, and the story introduces her so economically. First, we learn she's brave, which is so important. She's not just some helpless victim. But she has this one single vulnerability that is so relatable. She's scared of the dark. And her nightly ritual, checking the room, that's not just a random detail. It shows us who she is and what her biggest fear is, all in one go. What this whole setup is doing is a classic storytelling move. It's establishing her normal world. We see her routine, we get a feel for her space, and we understand this baseline of safety she builds for herself every single night. And this is absolutely crucial because horror works best when it has a sense of normalcy that it can completely shatter. All right, so now that we have our normal world all set up, the story is ready to break it. And that brings us to Section 2, A Whisper in the Dark. This is that moment, that inciting incident that just flips everything on its head. And it all happens with just 4 simple words. Then she heard it. In that single instant, the whole tone shifts. That safe, normal world we just established, it's been compromised. The unknown has officially entered the room. And what does she hear? Think about this. It's not a random growl or a creak. It's her own name being whispered. What a masterful choice. It makes the threat personal. It makes it intelligent. This isn't just some mindless monster. It's something that knows her. The intimacy of that is what's truly, truly chilling. And this next part? This is just a masterclass in building suspense. The writer slows everything way, way down. We don't just jump to what's in the cupboard, no. We experience every single second of Rhea's reaction. Her heart racing, her clutching that pillow for comfort, and then that slow, deliberate decision to get up and walk towards the source of her fear. It forces us to live in that terrifying moment right there with her. So she opens the door, and it's just her doll. This is a fantastic move. It's called false relief. All that tension that was building up just, poof, it releases. For a second, both Rhea and us, the audience, we can breathe again. We think, oh, okay, it was just her imagination. But this is a trap. It's designed to lower our defenses right before the real horror strikes. And that strike comes in a way you would never expect. Welcome to Section 3, the climax at dawn. See, the story's peak doesn't happen in the darkness she's afraid of. It happens in the supposed safety of the morning. That one little word, but, is doing all the heavy lifting here. It signals a complete reversal of everything we thought we knew. And the scream, it doesn't happen at midnight. It happens in the morning. This totally subverts our expectations. The dark was supposed to be the danger. By putting the true horror in the daylight, the story is basically telling us there is no safe time, there is no escape. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. At night, the doll was where it was supposed to be. In the morning, it has moved. It's right next to her, and it's smiling. There's no logical way it could have gotten there. That impossible, unexplained event, that's the core of the terror. And that final detail, the smile, man, that's just a perfect, bone-chilling touch. You know, this feeling actually has a name. It's a concept called the uncanny. It's that specific kind of horror that comes up when something super familiar, like a kid's toy, suddenly becomes strange and threatening. See, a space alien is scary, sure, but a familiar object acting like it has a mind of its own, that taps into a much deeper, more psychological fear. The doll itself hasn't changed, but our understanding of what it can do has, and that is terrifying. So, what's the fallout from an event like that? Well, the story doesn't just end with Scream. It ends with the aftermath, and what we're calling fear's new reality. This final line is just, it's devastating. Notice how it doesn't give us a resolution. The mystery is never solved. Instead, what we get is a consequence. Ria's normal world is permanently broken. Her fear of the dark wasn't just some childhood fantasy, it was confirmed in the most horrible way possible, and now it's going to dictate her life forever. This isn't an ending, it's a scar. So, if we sum it all up, this tiny little story is a perfect machine for creating fear. It gives us a relatable character with a relatable fear. It uses sound to build suspense. It totally flips our expectations about safety, and it leaves the central mystery wide open. But maybe most importantly, it shows the lasting psychological impact. True horror isn't just about a jump scare. It's about the fear that stays with you long, long after the story is over. And that kind of leaves us with one final haunting thought to chew on. What truly scares us more? The monster we imagine is lurking in the shadows, or the one we find sitting right next to us, smiling in the clear light of day? That's the question this little story forces us to ask. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.